what we call Buddhism is the vision of the Buddha as it is revealed by his teaching, recorded by his enlightened disciples. What the Buddha saw in his vision, called insight, is the reality or the truth of the world, both in and outside. The inner world is referred to as ajjata, and the outer world is referred to as bahijja. Though we refer to the world as both out and inside, really we experience only the world within us. Buddha referred to the world by the name Loka. In the Rohitassa Sutta, Buddha made a statement, Vyamatta kalebere panyapemi lokancha, meaning the world we experience is within our 1 fathom body. Fathom means 6 feet. Our physical body is about 6 feet. And the world we experience is organized or formed or created by our 6 sense organs. The 5 outer organs called eye, ear, nose, tongue and skin, and the inner organ called the mind, based on the memories stored up in our brain. According to the autopoiesis theory of the Chilean professor called Maturana, no one can see the world outside, or no one can experience the world outside except one's own neuronal responses. It amounts to the same truth expressed by the Buddha, that our world is within our 6 fathom body. What we see is not the real world outside in us, but only the world created by our eye. The capacity of our eye to see something or someone is very limited. We can't see many things that some animals can see. We can't hear some sounds that even some animals can hear. Sometimes their sensory organs are more sensitive than our sensory organs. The capacity of all our sensory organs are very much limited. The range of light waves or colors that we can see is limited. The range of sound waves that we can hear is very much limited. So is even smell. We cannot smell what even dogs can smell. We can't hear what cats can hear, or what cat and dogs can see. And what we see is not the real reality, but only a limited reality. Therefore, what we know is limited, while what we don't know is unlimited. We refer to what we know as our knowledge. The knowledge that we think as our knowledge is really our ignorance, because we are more ignorant of things that we know than what we know of them. In this respect, Buddha inquired into our inner world. Like physical scientists, like physicists, he did not use telescopes or microscope to investigate or inquire into the world outside. He inquired into the world within himself. And that inquiry was based on his own wisdom, not on knowledge. Buddha was born and bred in northern India during the Vedanta period. The spiritual studies of India are divided into two periods. The earliest period is Veda period. Veda means knowledge. Knowledge of Vedas, knowledge of rishis, sages, carrying from memory, from teacher to people in pupillary succession, was called Veda. And those who studied Veda were called Brahmans. And in addition to Brahmans, there arose a religious group called Sramanas. They were called King Satya Gavesi. They were searching for the truth. King Kusala Gavesi. They were searching for what is right, what is merit, what is good. And Buddha too, before enlightenment, was such a Kusala Gavesi, such a Satya Gavesi. He too wanted to know the truth of life. As I mentioned earlier, the truth we can experience through our sense organs are limited, and therefore Buddha inquired into the inner world. As the outer world is infinite, so is the inner world. He inquired into the inner world because the entire outer world is reflected in our inner world called in our mind. Therefore, his inquiry was into his own mind. The mind is an stream of activity. It's a flow. It's also active. It is dynamic. The nature of the mind is dynamism, and Buddha called it anicca. The thinking process is always moving from time to time, from moment to moment. The mind never stops, goes on thinking. And it is called the stream of consciousness. The mind is consciousness of thinking, and the thinking is a river. Not only our mental world, but even in our outer world, everything is believed to be in a process of ever-changing flux. As long as the 5th century BC, when the Buddha lived, during that century there lived a Greek philosopher called Heraclitus. He said, in the physical world, no one can step into the same river twice, because river is a flow, constant flow. So is anything physical, because they are ever changing. And looking into the inner, the Buddha realized the same truth. The inner world is ever changing. Changing inner world means thinking world. Thinking is a process. The inner world is silent and static only when there is no thinking. And at his enlightenment, Buddha said, his thinking is stopped. Visankara gatan cittam. Sankara means the thinking process. It is the stop thinking means is stopping the use of knowledge. Where knowledge stops, the wisdom arises. Enlightenment is the awakening of the insight of wisdom. The light means the light of wisdom. Wisdom is a capacity in all of us, in all beings, even in a one-cell being called amoeba. Buddha means one who has awakened the wisdom called buddhi. Buddha is literally mean the awakened one. Whose wisdom is awakened means whose capacity of insight is awakened. And we all have the capacity of insight that can be awakened